Hello, everyone, and once again, welcome to Stiletto Talks podcast, where we talk about being just an unconventional woman in business and how to balance it all out. Again, I am Paula Hutchinson, and I wanted to just hop on over the holidays and while you're thinking about the last month in the year, in regards to an event that we just had here in Arizona called Stiletto Talks Valley Sip Shop and Soiree. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that we had going on at the event and some lessons that I personally learned. Now, I put on these events all the time, but I can honestly say this time I learned a lot of things about myself and some things that I need to do from all of the women that were in the room. So, as usual, we generally have our vendors, all female vendors, ranging from self startup businesses to those who have franchise businesses. And then we went on to have our panel. And our panel talks about, of course, our usual subjects of how to balance having your own business and having your family, how to start it up, and especially if you are self funding, what to do and what not to do. Also, how to identify personal branding. And we really got into some heavy subjects about personal branding because you have to be able to brand yourself beyond your immediate circle. So, we got there, and of course, I am now in a new area, and all of us were learning each other as we went. So, the ladies that I had on the panel were women that I've met along the way since I relocated, and many of them were meeting each other for the first time, and all of us were just kind of, I just took the time to put everybody that I knew in the same room. And so, when I tell you we had the same atmosphere that I normally have back home in Baton Rouge, it was just simply amazing. The event was supposed to be 11 to 3. Luckily, we had a contract from 11 to 4 because we ended up staying there the entire time. And we learned some things that are just so important. And I want to make sure that I pay it forward and share what we learned with you all. Um, as you all know, I'm really big on sisterhood. I'm really big on collaboration. And I always say, if you don't need help, your vision isn't big enough. So I want to talk to you about some things that we learned. Number one, be intentional about meeting new sisters. Now, we had some ladies who have never been to a networking event where there's just all women. So there were some concerns that, hey, I may not blend in. I don't want to be an oddball. I don't know these people. I only know you. Should I come? And before you knew it, they were all taking selfies and they were all doing our hashtag Stiletto Talks Valley, and they were having a blast. There were ladies that were introducing themselves to other women. There were ladies that were exchanging numbers. There are some that actually met this week because we had the event on the 23rd and are due to meet next week. So they have already started the process of collaborating. And so you have to be really intentional about meeting new people. And I'm glad that the people that came in the room, you can tell they came there with a purpose. You should never go to a networking event just to just be a bump on the wall, if you will. You want to make sure that you are there to actually network and introduce yourself. And getting to that, when you introduce yourself, the second thing I want you to learn is learn to introduce yourself like the queen you are. Now, some people knew me and they were speaking so high of me, and for me, I do these events because I just really believe in sisterhood and collaboration. But it was odd for me for a minute, and then I had to say, you know what? I am a queen, and I am going to introduce myself as the creator of Stiletto Talks. And I learned to carry my own name with authority. And if you don't do anything else, look in the mirror every day, state your name, state your business, or state what you want to do in future, and be able to say that with authority. Learn how to introduce yourself like the queen you are. The next thing I want to talk about is be willing to learn from others. Now, we had various experts on the panel. We had therapists, we had those that work have some experience in the small business association world. We have some that were in the franchise world. We had some that were in the startup world. We had some that created their own business out of not necessarily planning but being forced into business by layoffs or job closures. So we had a little bit of variety on the panel, and everybody shared their perspective and their life experience with respect. And for all of us, we learned something new about the different genres of business that others wanted to go in. But then we also learned about that we're all vulnerable, that we all have mental struggles, that we all get tired, that we all need to be around good company and good energy, because that's what really fuels you. And so again, this week I've seen so many ladies sending me inboxes and gotten so many emails. They're all scheduling to meet tea, have tea, and different things. And that's stuff they're doing on their own. And that's really important that you do that. So had they not gone to the meeting, if they not come to the sip shop and soiree, they would have never met because they were traveling parallel. They were not intertwined. And so that, again, that's another reason why you need to be really, really intentional about going to networking events with the intention to meet other positive women. Everybody is not your enemy. Everybody is not out to take your idea. There are some women that are looking to help enhance and help make your life better. And having those sisters around you, you may not talk every day, but those are certainly some sounding boards and some different things that you can learn from all of them that will help enhance your business moving forward. And one of the last things that I want to talk about is your life experiences or your testimonies. For all of us, we all have what we like to call a brand story. What identifies our business to our brand is our story. And so when we all talk about our personal story, it draws people to those of us who are in business. And so I challenge you to take your story, take your life experience, and make it a part of your brand. When you take the time to do that and you can authentically speak that to someone else, it's going to cause them to have that call to action of wanting to do business with you. And if it's a service that they cannot utilize, they will definitely tell them about the genuine person that they met, because we all generally take referrals for different things that we like, right? So make sure that you incorporate your life experience. Your testimonies are not just for you, they are for someone else. We saw a lot of women just sharing in the room and talking about some of the things that they've been through. And what you really saw was a room full of survivors in the room celebrating each other's success, wishing each other well, and doing business. Our vendors, they were doing a lot of shopping and networking and shopping with one another, and then learning about some different events that were coming up here in the valley. And that's what we try to do, even when no matter where we have the events at, and we see the need now to expand. And everybody wanted to know when the next one was, and when I said March, they all looked upset. So we had to come up with something kind of a filler event in between then, so that we will actually have some time to really connect again, because you can tell that there is a need for it. And again, when you do create events or you decide to have your business or create your business, just make sure you're setting the atmosphere and what your expectations are too. I always try to let people know that what we create is a safe space for women. And it's really important that people understand that those safe spaces are important. And once people also realize that that is what is genuinely going to occur, they spend the day. So we didn't have anyone to leave from 11 o'clock until about 4 o'clock, maybe about 3:45-ish. You saw some people leaving, but we had the same people that started out at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day. And that means that they were in good atmosphere, especially for those that had lost themselves and had to call their husbands and be like, oh, I'm on my way home. They were like, where have you been all day? Because they're probably not used to them staying that long in the company of other women. So I challenge you to take the time, if you're looking for networking events, make sure that you find things that are really that really speak to you. Learn to be intentional, learn to introduce yourself with authority, be willing to learn from others, because you don't know everything. As much as we all think we know, there are a lot of things that we don't know. And then your life experiences are your testimonies. That is what's going to tie your brand story to you. So this podcast, of course, will be Always on Podbean. You can always find us at stilettotalks.podbean.com. You can also find us on Google Play and on iTunes. And then I also have a blog that is really, really awesome. And I tell anybody, go on the blog, check out the blog. The blog has a lot of tools that you can utilize, free tools that you can utilize by my own life experience or from someone else's in regards to how to balance your business and your life. Because if keep in mind 2019, can you all believe this is the last year in this decade? So when you start out in 2020, it's not just necessarily a New Year's resolution, it's a new decade resolution. And how will you operate differently and move differently in the next decade? So it's some big things to be thinking about. Again, check us out on Google Play, check us out on iTunes, and check us out on stilettotalks.podbean.com. And don't forget to share this with a friend. It's really important that you share. The more that we can share and the more that we can get positive messages out there, the more that we all can inspire other women to be their best. So don't forget to share it. Check me out the next time on our next podcast. And we are always looking for women who have their own business that are looking to put themselves out there to other women and share their story. And if you're looking to share your story, Stiletto Talks Podcast is definitely looking for you. Make sure that you drop me an email in regards to being on the podcast so we can get you scheduled at contact@pauljhutchinson.com. So it is after 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I'm way past my bedtime, but of course, this is one of my favorite times of year, the holiday time, where things kind of slow down and it's time to reflect, reset, and renew. So I look forward to getting some feedback from you all, as you always do. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And don't forget to share with another sister. And remember, as I always say, if you don't need help, your vision isn't big enough.